Good evening. I'm going to call the Concord Township Board of Trustees meeting for May 1st, 2024 to order. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Lucci.
Here.
Mr. McIntosh.
Present.
Mr. Dondorfer.
Present. Okay, we will move into the approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the April 17th, 2024 regular trustee meeting minutes as written.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and moving into our elected officials reports, we will start off this evening with our fiscal officer, Mr. John Patriarca.
Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer. Treasurer's report tonight, as of April 30th, 2024, we are 33% of the way through the calendar year. The treasury balance for the 21 active funds within the township treasury was $7.5 million. The treasury balance includes approximately $321 in funds set aside for specific projects. Year-to-date expenditures are currently at 32.2% of the amount appropriated for 2024, and the year-to-date revenue is at 47.7% of the annual budget. These figures keep Concord Township on track and within the budget. If any residents have more specific financial questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Call the fiscal office at 440-354-7516. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, John. Okay, moving into the trustees' reports, we will start off with Mrs. Lucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hope everyone is enjoying the nice summer days. It's great to see the pickleballers out there. Welcome, May. That also means our garden club is getting busy, beautifying our township. Thank you very much to our garden club. Do an excellent job. We had the opportunity to meet today with our joint road with Chardon Township officials to discuss our Colburn and Little Mountain Road, how we take care of those as far as plowing and maintenance. I did have some discussions with residents on Little Mountain concerning those road conditions, so we did have some good dialogue with the trustees today about that. Because it's a shared road, we have to consider how to equally repair with consideration of costs. We can tell you it's not a great road, but in Concord even there are roads that are much worse off in Little Mountain even. And I believe it's the same in Chardon. Just like everything else, road repairs are very, very expensive and have risen quite substantially. I did attend an Earth Day event at a recycling plant in Cleveland, which was very eye-opening. It's great to see technology that can sort and clean and package material to be recycled. Learned a lot, like don't put your plastics in a plastic bag, just put the plastics in the recycled. Never ever throw away batteries, they can cause fires. So that was a great visit, I certainly enjoyed that. I did speak with a few residents that had some questions about their tax bills. I did remind them about Andy's class on the website, so please take advantage of that if you have any questions. I will be attending Washington, D.C. next week on behalf of the National Association of Towns and Townships and Ohio Township Association to meet with some of our congressional delegates to talk about legislative priorities that are important for townships. Aside from that, I want to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day coming up. It's Nurses Week. We get our own week. And I want to thank some nice residents that came today to talk to us about their concerns with the last BZA meeting. Thank you for coming and chatting with us at our office hours. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also I had an opportunity to attend the recycling facility in Cleveland. It was very interesting, one of the most high-tech recycling, and I thought it was interesting that they talked about how they consider themselves a manufacturing facility because they're manufacturing reusable product. And I was astounded to find out that don't remember it, but it was a single-digit percent when they send a bundle out of material that it has less than 2 or 5% what it's supposed to be. I found that shocking when you watch those conveyors go around. You're like, they get it down to that accurate. It was amazing. I did learn a lot about what goes into, and I was at a facility that's not the hauler I use. Check with your recycling people. It's important because, as Mrs. Lucci said, they get batteries, they get things in there that don't belong, and they showed us a spot where they'd had a fire. It was pretty significant, but understand what you can and cannot and how to, because everybody's different in what they can take and what they can't take. And it was very informative. Really thought it was worth the time. I got to finish out Earth Week by attending the Arbor Day ceremony at the community center with Mr. Dondorfer. I got to see the garden club. Fantastic crew of ladies that do a great job taking care of us. We planted a tree on the new patio at the community center. It looks really great. Just had that joint meeting with the Chardon Township trustees about the roads, and I did have conversations about Little Mountain. Those are my neighbors now, and so hopefully we can get something done there. And did have a nice conversation with those residents that are concerned about the BZA hearing from a couple weeks ago, and appreciate them sharing their thoughts with us. With that, concludes my report.
Thank you. I, along with Mr. McIntosh and Mrs. Lucci, had the occasion to meet with our staff in our staff meeting earlier in the week. It's amazing how much is going on in this township between recreation with new programming, the service department, cemetery, zoning. There's a lot of work being done in Concord, and I ran into a couple Concord Township residents that brought up the coffee with the administrator program that Mr. Rose has put on, and told me they attended it and it was very beneficial. So that seems to be a big success. So thank you, Mr. Rose, for that. Yeah, the Arbor Day ceremony was great to see the garden club out there. Thank you to Klein Petiti Nursery for donating our magnolia tree that we planted out there at the Concord Community Center. It was nice out off the new patio out there. So it's great to see the attendance that we had. There was a nice day. I also wanted to mention, Mr. Rose, his work on, looking at different funding options for the water line project on Girdle Road. There's been a lot of work done with that, so I want the residents to know that we're still, working behind the scenes to try to get that accomplished for our residents down there. I did receive a call from a resident on Hermitage regarding some concerns she has for increased traffic and speeding vehicles, so I contacted Captain Patterson today. He's going to get some additional enforcement out there in the speed trailer to try to slow some of that traffic down. And another call regarding some zoning violation issues that I discussed with Heather. And outside of that, I'd like to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day this coming up here next weekend. And other than that, that's all I have. Thank you. Okay, moving on into department reports. Mr. Rose, administration.
Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer, members of the board, Mr. Patriarch, and members of the audience, good evening. I'll start with a few of the items on the agenda. Item A is Resolution 2024 TAC 14. That increases the administrator's authority to obligate funds to $10,000. It's currently set at $5,000. I'd appreciate a positive vote on that. Item C and D are purchase orders. Purchase order votes for various improvements to some of our buildings. All these improvements under items C and D, those funds are covered by the NOPEC grant funds we've received, and we appreciate NOPEC having that community grant funding program. It does go a long way. We're going to be putting exterior metal siding and a roof on the old red barn to preserve it and prolong its life. We're sticking with the same color scheme. We're also siding, and the roof needs a replacement at the property at 9911 Johnny Cake Ridge Road. So I would appreciate a positive vote on those. An update on our water line extension project. Last week I was able to have a great conversation with Senator Serino. I am now guardedly encouraged and thrilled that Senator Serino has placed our water line project on his priority list for capital budget funding. So that is very, very good and encouraging news. So we thank Senator Serino for his efforts on this. In addition to that, I was able to have a discussion with representative from Ohio Water Development Authority, OWDA, while I was in Columbus for the CLOUT meetings. While there are no grants available, OWDA does have some very attractive low interest loans that are available for water projects. We did go over our project. We do qualify for that. So we think that that is an option as well. It is still my hope to maintain the $1 million of funding from the Lake County Commissioners ARPA Fund, and then keep our portion, our match, to about $500K. That's the goal. I'll remind the trustees and everyone, we continue to work diligently. We're trying to source necessary funding for these projects. We continue to look for every possible funding source, and we're still searching. As a follow-up to last meeting's report, I'm continuing research towards a single waste hauler for the township. Earlier today, I met with representatives from 5 of the area's waste hauler companies. This was a fact-finding meeting to do some Q&A and get a little bit smarter on this and explore the opportunity for the single hauler contract for Concord Township. We had a very good discussion. I did get some great feedback from them, and that will help to finalize a potential bid document. I still believe this initiative will save the majority of residents money, and it provides expanded services, curbside yard waste, recycling, bulk pickup along with their regular trash. So I'm going to be tweaking the draft bid document that we have, and then I'm going to send it back to the law director for another review once I've incorporated some of the great feedback that we got from the trash companies. I want to note, we discussed this at the last meeting, and then also it came up during coffee with the administrator. I've received a couple of calls. The township general number has received a couple of calls expressing a desire for this initiative with positive feedback. The main factor seems to be the expansion of services that bring recycling and yard waste curbside. I did receive one call from a resident who was not in favor of the initiative. So we did get one that preferred to just leave it as is. Moving on, the copies of the RID resolutions we discussed last week have been mailed out along with the cover letter, and they've been mailed to all property owners inside the proposed RIDs. That certainly meets the 45-day requirement as set forth in the Ohio Revised Code. The mail's working well because I fielded a few questions from property owners who have received the paperwork, and I also spoke with Riverside School to receive their copy. No one's against it. They just, fielding questions, wanting to make sure it's not affecting the bottom line of their taxes. So we had a very good discussion about that. In looking back over the last meeting, we talked about the public hearing being set for July 3rd, 2024 at 6:15 p.m. But I'm requesting the chair, we actually have to set the public hearing. And we're still well within the 45-day rule, but at the appropriate time, if you could please actually announce that the public hearing is set for July 3rd at 6:15 for the Residential Improvement District public hearings. The Citizens Advisory Committee continues their work. We have another meeting tomorrow. I anticipate that receiving their findings probably before the end of the month, and I will be able to get those to the trustees by the end of the month once they provide them to myself and the fiscal officer. As everyone knows, the committee was formed based on some trustee comments regarding the funding of safety services back during the February 5th meeting earlier this year. The committee is working to provide a recommendation to the administrator and fiscal officer regarding the path for funding for our safety services for 2025 and beyond. But they're doing some really, really good work, and I appreciate their help and dedication in looking at this challenge. I've been exchanging a lot of emails with Congressman Joyce's office. As you know, we put in for capital project funding to the Congressman's office, and I also ended up, while I was in Columbus, having a short meeting discussion with the Ohio office of the USDA Rural Development Office. That's a mouthful, so I'm glad I don't have to say that often. But we do qualify for the program that we submitted for. That program caps at 20,000 residents. Because we're at the high end of that. We're under the 20,000, but we're at the high end of that. We only get a certain eligible percentage. So we would be eligible for about $2.5 million to go towards construction of Fire Station 2. But $2.5 million is nothing to sneeze at. And I've been in great discussions with Congressman Joyce's staff in Washington. They've been fantastic and very helpful. And that request, along with the others, is going to commit the Agricultural Committee subcommittee starting on May 6th. So I will be tubing up C-SPAN to watch those hearings. So we continue to track that to get funding to help offset costs for the construction of Fire Station 2. As a reminder, Mrs. Lucci brought it up, the Understanding Your Taxes class is posted to our website, so anybody can view it whenever they want. The Garden Club plant sale, which is a wonderful event, is Saturday, May 11th at the Community Center. That's on Auburn Road. We look forward to that. The next Coffee with the Administrator is Thursday, May 23rd at 9 a.m. That's at the Community Center in the Jordan Room. And then finally, I'd like to wish all the moms out there a very happy Mother's Day. That concludes my report. Thank you, sir.
I had a couple comments or questions for Mr. Rose.
Yes, sir.
First off, you've been busy.
Yes, sir. It's good. It's a good busy.
Getting a lot of work done for the township. I appreciate that. Just want to recap on a couple things. So back to the water line project that we're talking about. Sounds as if we're sitting here with two pretty viable options. Not over promising anything, but we're headed in a good direction. We've got a couple options on the table.
We are, and I'm using the word guardedly optimistic, guardedly encouraged. I think it's good that Senator Serino has made it a top priority on his list that went to the Senate, so I feel very good about that. And then, excuse me, as a secondary option,
If we have to go out, we can
use
borrow our way there.
OWDA. Their rates are attractive. We would partner with Painesville because they have to be an applicant, so that would require some type of legislation. I would work with Mrs. Matheny and then obviously Painesville's law director to craft something. But that interest rate right now is 3.37.
That's a good rate.
So that's a very attractive interest rate. We're still looking.
I'm not as optimistic about the federal money for the fire station. However, I find it interesting to note that, boy, if we could swing that, would pull us back to closer to the 2019 dollars. If we could pull that off, that would knock out the inflation hit we
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah, get us back to where we were planning
It would
originally.
shave off the inflationary growth from the delay we experienced in 2019.
Maybe not all of it, but a lot.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, great. Thank you for your effort.
I have a question too.
Sure.
The person that called to say they were not in favor of the single trash hauler, what was the reason?
It's a township thing. We're a township. We shouldn't be mandated. Residents like cities and villages are, don't over-regulate us.
That's what we heard in the
We've
past.
heard that before, yeah.
We've heard that before.
We heard that before when we explored it in late 2019, but I'm getting a lot less of those calls, and I'm getting a lot more of the, and I think part of it is trash costs have gone up post-pandemic, inflation, fuel costs, and getting a township-wide trash contract will likely result in a savings, not for every resident, but for the majority of residents, I believe, and the expanded services of, yard waste at the curb. Now you're not hauling it somewhere. You're getting your recycle at the curb baked into the same cost. You're getting bulk pickup at the curb, so when you got to throw grandma's couch away, you can easily do that without going through a lot of rigmarole, plus your regular trash service.
Well, I guess my comment, I certainly appreciate that limited government kind of thing, but you know, we keep getting hit with this yard waste deal, and we can either grow by hiring enough people to do that, or you know, having to raise taxes or find the money to afford to do that, or we can do it so we're solving a problem in a lean government way, which is also a township way.
I agree.
Yeah, but you know, it's interesting because, you know, go back to 2019 when we all took calls from different people and it
Right.
seemed like there's a pretty even play of people for it and against it. But now it seems like there's been more of a shift to, there seems to be more people for it. And I think a lot of that has to do with, and I know I've received a lot of calls about, complaints about, you know, trash haulers coming early in the morning and going up and down the roads all day long, and you know how that impacts our roads and how it impacts neighborhoods with different trash haulers going in and out all day long. So I think, and you're right, the monetary issue, I think the costs have gone up. I know mine have.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, I think, considerable savings to most residents. So it's, we're sort of seeing the shift
Yep.
from 19 to maybe, you know, this might be the way to go.
Well, it's like everything. I think these issues, people look at us often. I feel like, you know, so simple, do this, that, and it's not simple. It's complex, and there's a lot of moving parts to this. And I think we have to, you know, to me, what a township is a lot of things. It is limited government, but it's also efficient, and we're a growing community that has needs, and we have to solve those needs and services.
Well, hearing from our service director on the impact the roads have, the, you know, if there's 4 or 5 different haulers
Right.
running on the roads every single day, we have to think about that
Right.
impact on our spending.
And that costs
That
our
costs a
road
lot of
budget.
money, and our picking up road, or you know, when we do the pickup, that's
fall.
our staff.
Yep.
All
You
the
know,
brush days, yeah.
brush days. But I think too, you know, I think about the person that has very, very little garbage, that doesn't throw grandma's couch away, that doesn't recycle, that has maybe 1 bag, you know, a week. So, you know, we think about those folks too.
I'm sure we'll have more
Yeah.
conversation as this
Yes.
goes along. No
Yes.
decision obviously has been
Right,
made
no.
at this
No,
Right.
no decision.
Okay,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
your work,
Mr.
Andy.
Thanks,
Thank
Andy.
you.
Yep. Fire Department, Chief Sabo.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
So for the month of April, we had a total of 286 events, compared to April of 2023, where we ran on 235 incidents. That also brings our year-to-date for 2024 to 1,033 compared to 2023, where we ran 912. So we are tracking upwards. And last year we broke a record, so we are tracking in a even higher level. So we had 184 EMS events with 135 transports to local hospitals. We had 102 non-EMS events, including 3 fires. Inside Concord, we had 2 fires, 1 vehicle fire and 1 cooking fire. Outside of Concord, we had 1 residential structure fire that I believe Mr. Patriarca had a front row seat to.
Confirmed, yes.
Yeah, and hopefully saw how the operations of the mutual aid departments work very well together to bring a tragic situation to a quick resolve. I think we were under control on that fire within 20 minutes. I know it doesn't seem like that because we were there for a lot longer, but
No, I
to
commented
us,
on it
we had
last week.
benchmarks.
I know you weren't here, but I did comment on it
Yeah.
last week. And,
Very good.
The joint forces were tremendous, and yeah, it was
That's good to hear.
very impressive to see. You know, the departments working together, and really just did a fantastic job. So thank you again.
Good to hear. Thank you very much. We also provided mutual aid to our neighbors 23 times, and we received mutual aid 8 times, and we had 88 overlapping calls for 31% of our call volume. The Fire Prevention Bureau completed 55 inspections, accounting for about 82 hours, and also did 9 plan reviews and completed about 10 hours of continuing education. And we also hosted the Lake County Fire Prevention Association monthly meeting. This was a 2-hour class on fairs, festivals, and food trucks. So they're ramping up for fair season and carnivals and rides and all that stuff. So there's a lot to that from the fire department aspect that we have to pay attention to. And I think St. Gabe's Festival is they're getting that ramped up soon, right?
June 7th,
Okay.
6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay.
Coming up.
In terms of public education, on April 2nd, 3rd, 9th, and 10th, we provided first aid training, CPR, AED, and national certification on Stop the Bleed. This was training for all 4 shifts at Avery Dennison. So that was no small task. That included 31 employees, but you think about our staff making themselves available to 4 shifts. You know, that's a huge undertaking, even for just 31 people. But with the overlap in hours and making sure that we were accommodating to Avery Dennison to help them accomplish that goal. On April 11th, we had a Stop the Bleed and fire extinguisher training at Riverside High School. On April 16th and 23rd, we completed yet another Red Cross babysitter training for 20 Concord youth. Held at Fire Station 1. That was another successful babysitter program. That is just ramping up and taking off. It's been very well received. On April 23rd, we were at the Physicians Pavilion helping them with emergency actions during fire alarm training for all the employee occupants of the Physicians Pavilion at UH. And then on April 25th, we were at Stop the Bleed and hands-only CPR training to 39 employees during Safety Day at Five Landis Corporation over on Discovery. And then we also installed another residential lockbox, so that's another good thing that's happening in Concord. We started expanding our social media presence, not only on Facebook, but on the Nextdoor app. So look for us, follow us on Nextdoor as well as Facebook, and get all the latest and greatest. We use Nextdoor a lot in the past for just emergency notifications, but now we're using it for everything. So, and again, the fire department wishes all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day, and all the nurses a very happy Nurses Week. Thank you for all that you guys do. It's very much appreciated, and I know as paramedics, it's a team effort, you know, so when we bring a patient in, it's that continuation of service and making sure our patients are handed over to very good care. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah. All the pigs are accounted for.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was an interesting call. So thank you, Andy. So we did get called by a resident. A potbelly pig escaped its pen, and we worked with the sheriff's office to put a harness on the pig, and very carefully. Actually, 2 of the responders on that call actually have farms, so they deal with animals and 4-H and all that stuff. So they're very well versed in that. So they wanted to make sure they did it safely, so they didn't harm the pig, but he didn't want to go willingly. That's for sure.
looked huge.
That's for sure.
He
It
was
was
big.
a big pig. Yeah. But yeah, it got put back safely.
Thanks, Chief.
you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, moving on to our service department, Tim Brown.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The Service Department in the month of April responded after hours to a downed tree on Fay Road. Our crew responded to the location, and with the assistance of the fire department, we had the road open in under an hour. Crews were out making repairs to catch basins, pothole patching, installing culverts, and performing ditch maintenance throughout the township. In addition, today, our concrete crew began work to install a concrete sidewalk to access the new patio at the community center. The 2024 joint road resurfacing projects are scheduled to begin at the beginning of June. Winchell Road will receive culvert replacements that will require road closure. The time of the closure permitted is 60 days. The contractor is confident that it will open sooner. Detour routes will be in place during this time. The Service Department and Lake County Stormwater Department are working together on several stormwater repair and enhancement projects throughout the township, putting stormwater tax dollars back into the township. The yard waste drop-off is open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. This Saturday, May 4th, is the first of 2 brush day drop-offs. The second day is May 18th. The drop-off is open from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. We remind residents brush is not to exceed 4 inches in diameter and no lumber, landscape timbers, railroad ties, or stumps are permitted. The yard waste drop-off will also be open during this time. Service Department encourages residents with questions or concerns to contact us at 440-350-3225 or by email at concordtwp.com under service. And the Service Department also wishes all the mothers a happy Mother's Day, and to all the nurses, happy Nurses Week.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Tim. Zoning Department, Heather Freeman. Evening.
So during the month of May, the zoning department processed 41 zoning permit applications and collected $6,800 in fees. Staff was busy out doing inspections for properties with open zoning permits and completed 102 inspections. They also issued 38 zoning certificate of compliances for projects that were completed. We also received and followed up on 8 new complaints about potential zoning violations. Next week, the Zoning Commission will hold their regular meeting on Tuesday evening. New business items include the review of an application for site plan approval for a project located at 8167 Auburn Road. This project includes renovating and adding on to an existing building that will be used for the Auburn Vocational School District Board of Education offices. Additionally, the Zoning Commission will be continuing their work session on potential updates to the zoning resolution. Also next week, the BZA will be holding their meeting at Town Hall at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, and the detailed agenda may be found under the public meetings page under the Township website. And should residents have any zoning questions, please reach out to the Zoning Department, or if you have any questions about the meetings as well, you can contact us as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rec Department, Sean Supler.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The Recreation Department is in full swing, getting ready for the busy summer months. Just to recap some recent programs that we've had. This afternoon we had our Mother's Day tea. We had 70 seniors registered for that event, with another, I believe, 28 that were on the wait list. So we had a great luncheon today. Special thanks to the Recreation Department for putting together the luncheon for the seniors. Susie Cobb made a ton of food, including chicken salad and ham salad, and her mother and mother-in-law baked all of our baked goods for the event as well. So, and to Rachel Lamb for putting together everything else for the program and being the strong voice that she is for our seniors here in Concord. So I appreciate everything that she does as well for that group. The weekend of April 12th and 13th, we had our spring garage sale. We had 22 vendors for that, and we had over 600 patrons come through the doors for that program, or for that event, so very successful weekend. Our next one is the weekend of October 11th and 12th in the fall. Our spring session of rookie sports soccer is underway. It's actually taking place across the street in the old maintenance building, in the grassy field over there. We have 32 kids signed up for that, with a amazing 26 of them being right here from Concord. So great numbers, especially for Concord residents, and seeing the need to continue to program for our youth population here. We have our rookie sports baseball taking place in June. That one is full for our younger kids, 3 and 4-year-olds, at 24 kids, and we're still taking more for our older age group. As Andy had mentioned, the Garden Club plant sale is coming up on Saturday, May 11th at the Community Center from 9 to 11:30. We hope to see everyone there. They always put on a great show, a great spread of not only flowers but baked goods as well. So our upcoming 55-plus events, just a reminder, all of those are on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock unless otherwise noted. May 15th, we have Congestive Heart Failure Awareness Program. On Tuesday, May 21st at 10 a.m., we have a summer book tasting with Morley Library. On May 29th, we're doing patriotic themed bingo. That's at 1 o'clock. Same day, the 29th, from 6 to 7, we're doing a program called Getting Started with Medicare with Laura Musco. That goes over all your options for Medicare, differences in plans, so any questions that people might have about Medicare is a great program to attend. May 20th is our next foot care clinic with Dr. Saxton. And in an effort that the Recreation Department has done to try and offer easy access and affordable care to our seniors, we've partnered up with Concord Township business Sounds of Life Hearing to offer hearing aid cleanings as well as earwax removal that will be done at the community center itself. That's on May 30th from 11 to 2. There is a small fee for that, but it's just trying to offer easy access for our seniors to get basic care like that. So, intro to pickleball. Our spring session is starting up here on Saturday, May 4th. That goes to the 25th from 11 to 12 here at our pickleball course, and that's taught by Brian Murphy. Our community center, we have one date left for rentals between now and the end of August, and that is Father's Day. So if you want to have a celebration for Father's Day at the community center, that's your one shot there. We've been hosting tons of HOAs recently, so anyone that needs a spot to hold a meeting or HOA, let us know. We can certainly get you in there during the week. Pickleball courts and tennis courts are open, and they have been getting utilized, so that's great. Old Stone School, May 10th is Active Seniors Who Lunch with a hike at Skoke Meadows at 12 o'clock. And the Memorial Day public tours on May 27th from 3:30 to 5. That's at the Old Stone School itself. Our summer concert series is coming up real quickly here. That's starting Thursday, June 6th and runs through August 1st. That's every Thursday besides July 4th. And please note that we changed the times this year to 6:30 to 8:30 instead of 7 to 9. So 6:30 to 8:30 for all of our concerts at the gazebo. Our first concert is Risk Factor, and we'll have a variety of food vendors and other vendors that will be there for those concerts. Just to kind of hold the date is our Concord Community Day. That's Saturday, August 10th. Looking to improve that as well. Pretty much same schedule of events, pancake breakfast, community parade, all that kind of stuff, and then our evening activities with music and beer and wine and all that good stuff in our kids' world as well. And just before I sign off, I just wanted to acknowledge the service department and all their efforts that they've been giving the recreation department and completing a growing list of items that we've been giving them. This includes building 2 new garden boxes in the front of the community center to replace some old ones that were rotted out. They unloaded and moved 10 very heavy picnic tables to our new patio. They're currently building us a walkway to our patio. They delivered some materials from a farm to our community garden that'll be used for our gardeners, and built a bunch of stuff for Dan Maxon and the Old Stone School, among many other things. So I appreciate them and all their efforts in getting those projects done for us before they start all their busy summer projects. So, and if you haven't seen the patio yet with our new picnic tables, I encourage you to do that. Come have lunch there sometime, and I know it's going to be very popular with our renters this summer. So please continue signing up for the E-Grapevine. Do that by visiting the website or call the Recreation Department. If you have any questions or need to register for programs, you can give us a call at any time at 440-639-4650. And we are happy to assist, and happy Mother's Day and happy Nurses Week as well. So, and that concludes my report.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you. Okay, moving on to law enforcement. With us tonight is Sergeant Mike Suschek. Thanks for joining us, Sarge.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
For April, we had 1,049 calls for service. Of that were 10 accidents, 2 of them being injury. We had 183 traffic warning tickets, 24 citations, 11 driving under suspension, an additional 1 for operating a vehicle while intoxicated. The operating vehicle while intoxicated, that male was also arrested and charged with child endangering as he had 2 small children in the car. We brought them back to the station and cared for them until mom could get there. She was like an hour and a half away. We also had 2 additional arrests. Both were for carrying a concealed weapon and improper handling and transportation of a firearm. Both those came off of I-90. In addition, the one male was wanted by the United States Marine Corps. He had a warrant through them. And then further, as the elephant in the room, we also had a homicide on Loch Ness Drive. We had 92 business checks, 87 community policing events, 50 alarms, 34 suspicious vehicles and person circumstances. We had 11 disturbances. We also had 11 domestic violences. Of that, we had 1 fresh arrest stemmed from a domestic, and then we sent 2 additional ones for charges and reviewed by the prosecutor's office. We had several breaking and entering reports on Hillshire as well as Sturbridge. The Sturbridge were vehicles. The only thing that was stolen was prescriptions that we noted. Others was just miscellaneous change in the center council, stuff like that. Hillshire, the breaking and entering reports were the new builds, and they just took the usual packages. There are no suspects for that one currently. We also took several Bitcoin phone scams of people claiming to be from the sheriff's office or the auditor. Obviously, from us at the sheriff's office, we'll never call and request money in gift cards or Bitcoin, so don't pay that. Call us if you have any questions. And last but not least, the speed trailer has been deployed in one of its initial locations. It's going to be Stratford near Cherry Hill, and then I'm sure after the report was today. Other than that, from all of us at the sheriff's office, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and happy Nurses Week.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Thank you.
Appreciate the report. Okay, moving into our audience portion of the evening. I don't see anyone here in the audience. It's going to come up, so we will move into old business. Seeing there is none, we will move into the new business for the evening.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Resolution 2024-14, authorizing the Township Administrator to incur obligations of $10,000 or less on behalf of Concord Township.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Resolution 2024-15, authorizing the preparation and submission of an application to the Ohio Public Works Commission to provide infrastructure improvement funds necessary for Concord Township's Cascade Road resurfacing project.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Community Center Summer Help TJ Vlach at $14 an hour, effective May 1st, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve PO in the amount of $17,000 to Superior Metal Roofing for siding, gutter guards, and roof at the property 9911 Old Johnny Cake Ridge using NOPEC approved funds.
And I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the purchase order in the amount of $26,800 to Superior Metal Roofing for siding and roof on 11593 Concord Hamden Red Barn using NOPEC approved funds.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us into our future meetings and announcements. Mr. Patriarca.
Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer. On May 7th at 7 p.m., there will be a zoning commission meeting here at Town Hall. May 8th at 7 p.m., there will be a BZA meeting at Town Hall. On May 15th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., trustee office hours in the conference room, immediately followed by a 7:30 p.m. trustee meeting here at Town Hall.
Thank you very much. And that concludes our...
One thing, Mr. Chairman, can you set the public hearing?
Oh,
July 3rd.
yeah, we will set the public hearing for July 3rd at 6:15 p.m. Everyone's good with that?
Yes.
6:15?
Okay.
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 Thank
And
you,
that
sir.
concludes our meeting for this evening. Good night, Concord Township.
Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot about that.